One.
I don't know who you are, but welcome to the Irish Photography Podcast. Sit back, relax, and listen about cameras, gear, settings, stories, and all things photography. Join Darren on Ireland's Best Photography Podcast. Let's go.
And you're very welcome to episode 164 of the Irish Photography Podcast. Yes, that's right. Your ears aren't deceiving you. It's a new episode of the podcast. And it's been almost an age since I made the last one. Last November, I did the last podcast and I took a bit of time off, maybe a bit too much time. But I've somewhat been distracted, I suppose, in the meantime. And I hope I'm not too far out of practice, actually, to do a podcast. Like I said, it's been a while now. But, I kind of had to figure out, can I do it or can't I do it? And you know what? I decided to bring somebody on who's also out of practice, but also knows a thing or two about a podcast. So I'm very, very, very happy to welcome back to the Irish Photography Podcast, the one, the only, Mr. Diarmuid O Donovan.
Hello. How are all ye lovely people all over Ireland and the world? And you, Darren, how are you keeping, buddy?
I am marvellous, man. Absolutely marvellous. Look, you and I, we've seen a lot of each other in the last, I don't know how long, but we haven't been on the podcast since we did the one for our review of our amazing trip to the Isle of Skye. And I think after that, I think after that, I only did one other podcast, actually. So, yeah, I'm definitely out of practice. And speaking of going back, we are going to go back. That is a given. We are going to go back. But we're going to go back in a different way. And we'll get to that, I imagine, as we're going to chat, I suppose, through our conversation here. But yeah, kind of to ease ourselves back in. What's the story? What have you been up to?
Darren, I have actually never been busier with photography in my whole life. It's been absolutely insane what I've done from a personal level to get to where I am now, but also from a business level as well at the same time. And I've done kind of well to marry the two into one another. And there's been times where I've kind of organized my business trips with photography with landscape photography at the same time. So it's nice to kind of get away with that as well at the same time. But yeah, man, it's just, I think in the last couple of months, I've learned to explore and enjoy the journey a hell of a lot more than actually taking the picture then as well. So I really I know you've been preaching to me for years. And John as well, he was preaching me but it's just recently I've been hanging out a lot more with a good buddy of mine called Ger McCauley. So like you would have met Ger at my stag party in Lahinch, and like the dude is just his mental approach to everything in life is different from anyone I've ever talked to about anything before. Like John is very good now to talk about mindfulness and all that, but I don't know what it is about Ger, man. He just resonates with me. And when I started doing all these trips with Ger now, and we're trying to do this new thing where we climb one mountain in Ireland a month. Wow. And it's just really, really cool talking to him and just shooting the poo with him, that's a new one. Because he told me, all right, look, Taryn warned me before we started the podcast, no cursing. So I'm trying my best. Well, poo is acceptable, right?
Well, poo is more than acceptable. Shit is also acceptable as well, to be fair, But look, at the same point, you are out of practice. And so am I out of practice. So I'm probably going to let one or two of the F-bombs as well slip out during this. So hopefully I don't have to edit too much, I suppose, in relation to the end of it. But anyhow, on that note, I suppose, about, getting out and about, you went off up Errigal in the snow.
Yeah, man, that was epic. And the amount of messages that I got on social media and just not WhatsApp and all those messages, when they saw, the 15-second reel that I put up, and they're like, oh my God, were you in Norway again? No. No. I was in Limerick at 5:30 this morning, man. How am I going to be in Norway? And it's just like, this is insane. But it was, I can see their point of view. It didn't look like Ireland at all.
No, it didn't.
Even my father rang me from Spain. He's like, where the hell are you? You know what I mean?
Well, what? Aren't you lucky that you were able to go for that exact time to be there at that point? And leaving Limerick, it was cold, but it wasn't as cold as what you got when you were up in Errigal. And fair play to both of you for managing to get to the top of it. I know I kind of said, I'd love to do that. No, I wouldn't. I'd have been tired by the car park.
Oh, it just brings back fond memories of the Cumras.
Well, geez, don't mention the war, but don't mention the war. And you know what? I suppose, look, I couldn't also go either because it was around the time actually when I had my procedure on my back. So if anybody doesn't know, actually, I've been crippled for I don't know how long, and I've been struggling through, my photography journey. And in January, I had a procedure on my back where I had an injection, and night and day, absolute night and day. But you were going 2 days after I had that injection. I'm like, no, man, I'm not going to risk it.
I did text you, though. I did text you.
You did?
Just to be, I know you probably can't go. I was like, but would you like to go?
Yeah, no, I couldn't have gone. And you know what? Ever since then, I mean, I did two things. Number one, I had that. And number two, I'm recording this podcast right now, standing up, because I got a sit-stand desk. And if you haven't ever thought about getting a sit-stand desk, I would highly recommend it. I mean, I know you have one. Your one is.
Where'd you get the idea from?
Well, partly from you, partly from some of the ones I've seen myself. But of course, typical Diarmuid being Diarmuid, he just couldn't get an ordinary one. He has to get an extra large desk just to match your ego.
2.46 meters. So my ego is fairly big. So 2.46 meters to be precise.
But you know what, man? I spend most of my day now standing, and the only time I ever sit down is when I go, okay, I just give myself a small bit of a rest here, and I'm more 90% of the time I'm standing as opposed to sitting. And I think my productivity has gone through the roof, and it doesn't really show, I suppose, in productivity on podcasts because I haven't actually released a podcast in so long. But my productivity for everything else other than the podcast has gone through the roof, and it's great. And I don't feel tired or anything like that at the end of the day. I actually feel alive, and I feel invigorated, and I feel ready to go for more. So
and tell me this, so when before you had the desk, like, so you could be sitting just on a normal office chair for what, 5, 6, 7 hours a day?
More.
Wow.
When I had my real job, I suppose I'd start at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'd finish at 7 o'clock in the evening, and I probably might take a short break during that, but I spent my entire day sitting down, and that's part and parcel to the issue that I had in my back, 100%. And also as well, you're leaning over a desk and you're writing and looking at a screen. I would have spent all my time on conference calls and video calls, and you happen to be paying attention there in relation to that. Whereas now, if I had this, then I'd have been doing all my calls standing up. It would have been ideal. No, I actually had to do a lot of my calls standing up, believe it or not, when my back was in bad way because I couldn't sit down.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted now to have this sit-stand desk, and you know what? It's something that I do think that as I kind of get more and more used to it, I have it now, maybe a month and a half. Yeah. And as I get more and more used to it, I'd say it will rarely go down to the seated position. Rarely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now my one, I spend the majority of my time sitting on it, but I do my standing work as well. So I could be sitting for 3 hours, and I'm like, do you know your Apple Watch, because you have one, it'll tell you stand up, and then I'm like, oh, I need to stand up now, and then I'll work standing up then for maybe half an hour to an hour, and I kind of use it as a marketing plot then as well to impress clients, believe it or not. So if I know a client is calling for a consultation for a wedding or whatever, I'll have the room set up in a lovely way where I'll have the desk up already, right? And I'll have the 2 chairs on, and I'll have the Govie lights all turned off, right?
Right.
So I'll be like, oh, just say Mary and John are getting married. So, oh, come on, straight through to the office, guys. Just pop into the office there, and then all of a sudden I'll go Alexa. I'm just going to say that now. Turn all lights on, and next minute all these Govie lights going boo, 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 boo. It looks really awesome. Straight away, the groom always goes, that is so cool. Immediately, the groom always says, that's so cool. Right?
Yeah.
And then I go, oh yeah, cheers. Thanks a million. Appreciate it. But then I'll go over to the autonomous kind of part for the sit-down desk, and I'll press 1, and next minute the desk will come down, and then I'll sit in the chair as well at the same time. It looks bloody awesome in front of clients. And next minute the fella then is going, that is even cooler than the lights.
You're on a winner.
It works genuinely. I'm not joking. It works every time because I think I'm way cooler than I really am.
But you mentioned there about the Apple Watch and it's telling you to kind of stand up. Mine is actually telling me sit down.
What?
No, I'm only joking.
All right, okay. I never had
that. Darren, you need to sit down there. You've been standing for too long, man. But do you know what? I mean,
Wow.
it is going to be a game changer for me, and it has been a game changer. I mean, look, like I said, I've been busy, haven't been busy doing podcasts, but I've been busy building something, and it's been what's kept me distracted. I only planned to take December off in the podcast, and
Yeah.
then in January, everything changed, and
What
yeah,
changed? What changed,
my,
Darren? What changed?
my
Did you
whole
have an
life,
epiphany of life?
my whole life changed, Diarmuid. My whole life changed. Yeah.
Okay, tell
So,
me more.
well, as you know, I've been working for a number of years in a high pressure corporate job. And I said, you know
Uh-huh.
what? I've enough of that, I think. So I've been trying to do it for a number of years and I finally managed to do it. And I finally managed to find a way to exit the business. And now what I'm doing is I'm putting more time into something that I really, really enjoy. Dominoes.
I'm not going to say me.
No, 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 no. Well, kind of partly you too, yeah, because you are part of it. Like you're part of
Yeah.
the other part of my life, the part that I'm really, really
Mm-hmm.
enthusiastic and obsessed with, which is photography. So yeah, I'm now going to be building my brand, and that's what I've been spending the time in doing. And I kind of announced it on my YouTube channel, and I was really, really surprised with the positive response that I got from everybody. It was great, amount of people that have actually messaged me as well and kind of going, why haven't you done this before now? I always thought that you had done this before now. So, it's probably a testament in relation to how much I talk about photography.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah. But you know what? I mean, look, it's exciting, and yeah, I've big things planned now. I've been working on them constantly, as you know, putting a hell of a lot of work in to try and launch something which will be
Mm-hmm.
worthwhile. And not just how's it going? How are things? Here's my website. Have a look at my
Yeah.
website. I want it to be launched with a huge amount of content ready to go at
Now,
150 miles an hour.
I'll say one thing, right? I've always kind of thought, okay, yeah, I have a creative mind when I do things, and I have a bit of kind of OCDness about certain things and how things are and the way they're put. But
Yeah.
darn, my hat goes off to you, buddy. When you sent me a link to the website and said, have a look at that, let me know what you think. I'm not joking. I was simply blown away by one, the creativity, two, the professionalism, and three, the amount of work that actually went into this. I haven't seen a website like this that was so engaging in a long time, because the truth be known, like, no one really uses a website anymore because they're just all usually kind of the same thing. They're bland. This is what you do. Nah, nah, nah. Like, I really only go onto a website unless I'm going to Amazon,
Yeah.
Nike.com, adverts,
Or
stuff where I can
shinycameragear.com.
exactly where places I can waste my money.
Yeah.
Basically, otherwise I don't go onto website. But I was genuinely blown away by it. So like tell me more about, like, where did you build it? How did you do it?
All right. Well, I suppose, look, I've always wanted to have a website. I mean, every single year I do yearly reviews in my YouTube channel since I don't know how long. And
Mm.
every single year it's like, yeah, I must launch a website. Yeah, I must launch a website. And again, just like that, I didn't want to have just any old type of website. So I wanted to create something which is a resource for photography, and not just for me, but for people as well, to be able to gain as much as they can from that website as a go-to area, let's just say, for photography. I had been thinking about it for a long time, and what I wanted to do, what type of content I want to put into it. And, to make a website, you've got to, I see it anyway as three options. Number one, you can get a very basic website. Hiya, my name is Darren. I take photos. Here's some of my pictures. Thanks very much. Good luck. Number two, you can have a professionally designed website. You get a website designer, or else do it yourself by learning WordPress. That comes with a huge amount of challenges, because the WordPress, the language, let's just say, will update regularly, and to even update your website regularly, you either have to know to do it yourself, or again, you have to go to a website developer to do the updates for you. So what I decided to do was, I've been influenced, I suppose, by watching videos. Is this episode has been sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a
Yeah.
website, blah, 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 blah. So I said, you know what? I'll have a look at that. And I looked at it. And to be honest with you, I was absolutely blown away by the templates that they had and how easy it was to be able to create what I had in my vision in my head for a website. So there's a number of things, I suppose, that I did with it, really. I kind of said, okay, let's start off by doing the basics, who I am. And here's a gallery of a couple of images. But that wasn't where I was wanting to go, let's just say. So, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to do there is, and I think you'll notice yourself anyway, but we live in a world of social media, and social media controls who sees what we do, whatever. If you put tags in it, or if you tag somebody in it, or whatever it might be. So the best way to be able to deal with an audience is to deal directly with an audience. So I said, okay, I wanted to be able to have an email subscription service or an email newsletter, right? But I said, okay, I don't want to just have an old, how's it going? Here's my email newsletter. Please subscribe. I wanted, again, to make it valuable to people. So I said, okay, what can I do in relation to that? And one of the things that I'd wanted to do for a long time, and it stems from back in the day when I still am, I suppose, really, but when I was really invested into Munster landscape photographers, and I used to do the meetups for our Munster landscape photography group. And I'd arrange a meetup for 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, and I'd put together a guide, a very, very basic guide, to say, okay, this is where we're going, this is what to expect, this is what you should bring, and etc., etc. I said, okay, maybe I can start looking at those. And I started looking at those, and I had the vision in my head that I wanted them to be something different. So I said, okay, I want to create location guides. And I want to create an all-encompassing, everything focused on photography location guide, not just a book about photography or a book about certain locations, but I wanted it to be completely centric on photography. So that was the kind of the catalyst, and then I built everything then else around that. So I've got the guides, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a moment. I've also started to write blogs, because I wanted the blogs to be able to send out to the email newsletter subscribers. And also, a blog, it tells a far better story than a picture or even a video, because there's certain things that don't make it into the video that we don't film. There's things that happen in the background as to how we got there, some anecdotal stories that, the laughs and jokes that should be there with photography. And I said, okay, let's start putting that down. And what that really did then is it started to hone my writing skills, let's just say. I mean, I've been writing for, I don't know, years, but not in a educational way or a kind of a narrative way. I've been writing a number of different things from my old job. But yeah, by doing those blogs, it really allowed me to relive the madness that we've had in the last 6 months. So I kind of started off there with our trip, which we did down to in May, down to Dingle, to kind of document that, what we did and some of the items that we got up to, and it really, that's something that really kind of, it ignited the taste, let's just say, for van life. And and like my whole of 2022, I think every single trip that I went on was, well, not every single trip, but every single memorable trip was a road trip with you in the van. And I said, okay, do you know what? That's something that I kind of want to be able to have for myself, because it opens up so many different opportunities. So that's another thing that, again, we'll discuss in a moment. But yeah, the putting the blogs together, putting the location guides together, all for digital downloading as well. And I kind of really then said, okay, how can I make these different? And I think that's where I really stepped it up a gear, because with the guides, if you want to go to a location, you just click on it and it'll bring it to you on your Google Maps on your phone.
I saw that. That was very impressive. I loved that, because you know me, like especially about them, like in photography, you have color contrast. Kids TV programs, again, color contrast. So in those things that you showed, the interactive thing, I was like, ooh, look at this, it's shiny. And I was pressing it, and it straight away opened up a whole new plethora of things for me to play with. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and thanks very much. And I suppose the other advantage behind that then as well is that it's, not only are you going to know where the location is, but you're not going to get lost, because you can use from your directions point of view. And what I've then done with that to make it even more interactive is that if I've done a video from there, you can watch the video before you even go there, so that you've got an idea of what to expect before you even arrive.
Here's one thing now, and I'm playing devil's advocate here now, right?
Yeah.
What about, because it is a big thing, especially in recent years, about, leave no trace, no geotagging and all that. So what is, because I do know there was a place where you found a secret kind of waterfall. It's not the secret waterfall, but
it's my own one.
Yeah, so are you going to give away that location, or do you feel like, sugar, should I or should I not? I don't know.
My approach to it, Diarmuid, is very, very simple. I will not share the ultra secret locations, because out of the respect to the landowners, that's first and foremost.
Okay, cool.
Number two is, the areas that I'm sharing are areas that are well catered for people. So there's parking nearby, there's pathways. You're not going to do any damage to the environment or anything like that. I also adopted the nature's first principles as well within that, because it is something I think which is very prevalent. You're absolutely right. You know, it may not seem as it's a big thing. Sure, you know, I'm only going there. Hang on, it's only you, and then somebody else, and then somebody else. Before you realize that there's 100 people have walked over the land, and it's destroyed the natural flora that's there, or whatever it might be. So I was very conscious in relation to that. And I didn't want also to put locations that would be very difficult for certain people to be able to reach. So this is accessible to all. You know, so
sorry, I just when you said that, I don't know, for some reason I thought of the film In Bruges, where Colin Farrell's coming down the stairs and the pleasantly plumb gentleman from America, he's like, you're not going up there, yeah? You won't make it up there.
Yeah. Well, look, you do need to be able,
came into my mind.
Yeah, you do need to be able to walk, I suppose, to get to my locations, but there's not a huge amount of hiking in relation to it. But the beauty of it then as well is that, you know, what I decided to do is to give people an insight into what type of photos they can get, what they should look out for in each of the locations, what photography gear that they should bring, what personal gear that they should bring, how do the seasons affect the different areas, how is the light on the different areas, you know. So I mean, it's all encompassing. It's a one-stop shop in relation to, you know, use this guide to get your next banger, let's just say. And if you're stuck for a location, you want to be able to find where it is, because look, I'm over 10 years now in doing landscape photography, and I found a number of locations myself. I've asked others for them. They're not hidden, but I've had many people asking me over the years, Darren, how do you get to this place, or how do you get to that place? And I let them know, I'll go this direction or that direction. And they invariably get lost and end up ringing me again afterwards going, how do I get to there? So by just having it on the map to click on there, I think it's, you know, it'll be quite interesting. And I've got 3 of them now fully completed. And I've got 1 almost completed, but it'll be complete by the time I'm planning to go live on everything, which will be in the end of February. So the 3 that are live, one is the Copper Coast. The other is the Beara Peninsula. And then the third one, which is, as you know, my favorite place to go take photos, is the Dingle Peninsula.
Yeah.
And, you know, each of those...
Wait. When you're doing Limerick?
The road out of it. That's the only one location that you need to know. Or in your case, the road to Clare.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's what's been keeping me busy. It's a hell of a lot of work. I mean, I've, you know, been kind of keeping track of my hours and stuff that I've been doing in it, like, and I'm up at around about 130 hours now of work that have gone in to the website in total. Yeah. So
cool boss for you, good sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know what? I think I wanted to look well as well, Diarmuid, you know, and I think it looks extremely well too.
Sorry, did you say I wanted to look well, or you wanted
it?
Oh, sorry. I genuinely thought you said I want to look good. I was like, that's never happening.
That's why I do a podcast. I have a face for the radio, like, you know what I mean? Oh. But yeah, no, thanks very much. Yeah, it's been a passion project, and it's something that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm really excited now as well to share it with everybody. You know, when it finally does go live,
absolutely,
it'll be kind of I think a different set of tools for people to be able to go and find those next shots in places that are effectively on their doorstep, and it's all in one spot. You know, so it starts with that, but I've got bigger plans then thereafter.
Me personally, I think it's absolutely fantastic, because first and foremost, I'm going to take it all off you for free, whether you like it or not. Anyway.
Huh? Free?
Oh, yes. Talking about how much it is for moguls, but like, I'm obviously getting for free, but other people have to pay how much?
Obviously. That's an awful assumption, isn't it?
Well, that's second out. Didn't I cart your arse around in my van for the last 12 months?
Didn't I keep you company and keep you sane during it? Can't put a price on that.
Whoa. At times, yeah, but at other times, no.
All right. Look, for each of these guides, there'll be a very, very, you know, cheap price. They'll be $9.99 each.
That's very fair.
Yeah,
that's very fair.
I just want to make sure that there's value in it. You know, I was toying with the idea of being even cheaper than like $4.99, but even at that, it kind of negates the value that's within it.
Correct.
There's a lot of value within it. I mean, I think I could possibly even charge $19.99 for these, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
$9.99 is the price that they're going to go out with.
But think of the amount of hours. You said yourself, 130 hours. Come on, like, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, you know, but I think it'll be hugely beneficial to anybody that picks them up. And I don't think they're going to pick them up just once, you know, they're going to open it again and again and again and again and again and again. And, you know, I think that's where I kind of want it to be. And like I said, look, that's the start of it. I've got a 4th one as well that I'm in progress with. And then I've also got overall guides as well that I'll be creating too.
Okay.
So yeah, Seascape, as you know, is my passion. So I'm going to write a guide on Seascape as well, and everything that you need to know for Seascape. So yeah, writing and building a website.
Okay, so I see this to be massive. This can be absolutely huge for you, but are you going to limit yourself to, let's just say, Munster or Ireland? Are you going to maybe create one for Isle of Skye? Are we going to go back to the Lake District? Are we going to go to France, which actually tied with the idea there the other day about doing a road trip to France for some reason?
Tu parles français, oui.
Don't know why. It just came into my head, man. And I was just there going, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, look, exactly that, Diarmuid. I think this can be applying to many, many different locations. You know, I mean, we've met the knowledge that you and I have there from the Isle of Skye. I can nearly do one with you and a collaborative one for the Isle of Skye, you know. But I think it's a great thing to somebody to have if they're going. You've got everything that you need and not only just how to get there, you know, but what to think about before you even go there and what to expect from each of the locations. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. There's one as well that I want to do, which is the kind of hidden gems. But they're not, again, on anybody's land. Okay. They're in public areas, but they don't fall into a bracket. So yeah, that's the kind of the first step that I want to do with it. I'll launch with 3, and that'll be exciting, to say the least.
Can't wait to see the rest of the ones now that I haven't seen already. So I'm looking forward to reading them now.
Yeah, I don't know what now, but I might give you one for free. We'll see. How many more meals are you going to cook me in your van?
Well, I was saying, every time you're in my van, man, you get a good quality meal, boy. Telling you. What you have last time?
True story. I can't remember.
Oh no, wait. Do you know what? Actually, we were down. We were down in Dingle last week.
Yes.
For 2 days, and trooping on, we went on a bit of a mad shopping spree with ridge monkeys. So for people who don't know what a ridge monkey is they're cooking equipment that were created for fishermen to be on banks or whatever, you know, and campers quickly adopted what they were using because they're so lightweight. They're really compact. You know, they're very carryable. That's with some, you know me now, my lovely new words. You know,
haven't cursed yet, so yeah, you're doing well. You're doing well.
So we went in a hall and we bought a load of this stuff. And Darren then, because he, and I might be skipping ahead, you know, but with your new van, whatever, but he was cooking in his Ridge Monkey over in his van, and myself and Taylor, my daughter, we were cooking in our van, and Darren was having these little toasted cute sandwiches, whatever, and he looks over at our van. There's also the full spread of spaghetti bolognese with lovely pasta and meat and everything. I could seriously see him with his head down pretending to cook his while side-eyeing me looking at my spaghetti bolognese and the drool sticking out the side of his mouth. It was so funny.
There was drool there, to be fair, but don't forget I was cooking food for my 2 boys. So I wanted to make something quick and easy for them. But I did give them some beautiful burgers after that too. So you know what? The Ridge Monkey stuff is, it's actually quite interesting what you can cook in the Ridge Monkeys. You know, I mean, like, it's nuts. It's nuts what you, and it's also very simple, very easy to use as well. So yeah. And as Gavin Hardcastle would say, Ridge Monkey, if you're listening, get in touch.
Get in touch. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, you kind of touched on something there as well. Yeah, which is the other development as well, is that I've kind of alluded to a moment ago. You know, I was bitten by the bug on the van life with you last year. You know, we went on 3 road trips. We went to Dingle, we went to the Isle of Skye, and we went up to the Giant's Causeway. And I said, you know what, this is something that I want to do. Now, if you remember back in the day when we rented a camper van and we did Donegal with Kevin on that grim couple of days. The advantage of a camper van has been clear to me for years, but to have one for myself. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start looking into it. And fair play to you, you were the catalyst for me to finally get my dream van, because I probably would still be searching and tearing what's little hair left in my head out, trying to find the right van, because it was frustrating to say the least, you know. But I'm delighted now because I managed to get a new van, which is, you know, not new obviously, but a secondhand van, which is almost new to me. And it was set up exactly as how I wanted it to be. And, you know, truth be known, Diarmuid, there's a kind of a bit of jealousy coming out in your left eyeball as well when you looked at it.
There is. Now,
only the left one.
I did look at the van, and like, truth be known, like, I've been looking for a van to replace my own van now for some time. And I struggle with actually finding the exact van that I want. And I just got so sick of looking. I was like, "Do you know what? I'm just putting this to the side now. I'm not looking anymore. I'll come back in maybe 2 or 3 months' time or something." Because my head is like, I have no hair, so I'd already tore it out. So then I just kind of parked it and I was okay with that. And then all of a sudden this one popped up on Facebook Marketplace and I was like, Jesus, look at that. That's a serious piece of kit. And I was like, do you know what, though? I'm going to pass because I'm going to keep saving it and try get something. I have something in mind and I'll get to it in a while that are totally different that I want instead. But I said, look, this is perfect. It's right up your street. It saves you a lot of hassle, a lot of bother. And at the price point, you couldn't get any better. Genuinely, you got it for a freaking steal. And then when you got it and you showed me this, that, and everything, I actually went, shit, should have bought it myself.
Yeah, and you know what, I must say, and hats off again to the guy that I bought it off of, shout out to Jerry, because he was an absolute gent. For anybody that's seen my video on YouTube where I explained about it, I'll just give you a quick synopsis again. But, I had no transportation. I got a van from Diarmuid that morning. I said, okay, I want to look at it today. I got the train up to Dublin. He met me at the train station, and when I arrived, he had a bottle of water and a sandwich there waiting for me, because his exact words to me were, I got you those because there's no food on the trains. Must have been a long day for you. And straight away I went, you know what? That's a good guy. And it's like, I've been in contact with him even since, nearly every single day now.
Wow.
And any questions that I have with the van or anything like that, he's great to answer them. And he's still sending me on items as well, things he was looking at to get for the van that I'm looking at to getting as well. Like, so yeah, it's been a game changer so far. And I'm really, really excited now to, take it on the next adventures, because we probably end up doing a podcast on vans specifically, because what it's a whole different world, and even the amount of comments that I got on the YouTube videos, does Jerry have any more of those vans? Does Jerry have another one of those vans? Can I ask Jerry, can you get me another? Like, Jerry was an ordinary guy, Jerry wasn't a van dealer extraordinaire, but what he did with the van, we got everything done professionally. Absolutely. And it was
very well done.
It's spot on for what I wanted for. And now it's a blank canvas that I can add more to, So yeah, it's great. I'm really excited. I can't wait now to get out, like I said, by. And what are you thinking about getting now? What's your next shiny that you're thinking of?
Yeah, so I'm getting a transporter as well, but I'm getting the big dog.
I'm
actually getting the 4Motion. So it's the 4-wheel drive standard 200 brake horsepower van. So it's going to be an absolute beast, and lo and behold, it won't be kept at 200 brake horsepower. So it'll be up
dropping
on the dyno track.
Dropping it down for safety.
No. I'll be up on the dyno track, so it's going to get remapped and a few little toys.
Yeah, you'll be dropping it down from 200 down to 125.
Yeah. About 250, 260 brake horsepower when I'm finished with it, I'd say.
But a 4-wheel drive, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, it might happen, it might not, but I think I've my eyes on one at the moment. Very unique color, but it's a serious amount of money. He has it up for 31,500 euros. So 31,500. Yeah, it's a lot of money, Darren. And and at the moment I'm holding off now because I want to see if because let's call a spade, the van market has gone absolutely gaga.
Yeah.
So I want to give it at least maybe 6 to 8 months to see if the arse drops out of it. And if it hasn't, then I'll just suck it up and just go buy the van then. But who knows? I don't want to go and spend 31.5 grand for a van and 6 months later be worth 20.
Well, I can nearly tell you that it won't be worth 20. I don't think it's going to drop by that much. I think it's probably going to continue to rise because the people looking for good quality vans will pay more for it. And it becomes a kind of a bidding war in relation to it. And I've seen it even, I follow it, and so do you. The van life in England, which is far, far more superior than the van life in Ireland. But even on that, prices have gone up, even with the plethora of them available in the UK. And there's not that many of them available in Ireland. No, I think, I wouldn't recommend that you go off tomorrow and just say, okay, it's really shiny, I want it. But you have a considered approaching it, because what you don't want is in 6 months' time, a similar van to be 35,000 or 36,000, So... Yeah. And do you know what? I think it'll be good now. I mean, you and I were supposed to go off on our trip there to Achill, but we'll have to reschedule that. And I think we'll definitely have the lols in Achill, the two buys. I'll go second so that, at least people are going to arrive and go, oh, yeah, look at that van. Oh, jeez, look at that van. As opposed to the other way, you know what I mean? Because they see my first, and they go, oh, Jesus, what's this fella behind here? Like,
Way out of it, you. I need to get my proper wheels back on now, actually, first, because I did the DOE last week, and because of the alloy wheels, I have like a BMW wheel conversion kit on it.
Right.
So I can put on any BMW wheels. So that's exactly what I have in the van. But for the DOE, you can't have those. So I had to put on my mate's bog standard steel wheels, and they're absolutely disgusting. So I need to put my alloys back on it now this week because I passed the DOE. And you know what, Darren? My van is purring like a kitten. Pass the DOE, no problem. And guess what the mileage is in it?
I know. Well, I can't guess, but the audience can guess. Hang on, we'll just do.
So it's 535,000 kilometers on that van.
That's insane.
And she's going perfectly. Just not a fucking let up in it in any way, shape, or form.
I remember the one I sent you on the other day. 711,000 kilometers.
That's right. Yeah.
711. Yeah. What even number is that? 711.
Do you know the worst thing about it? I agreed with you and I understood you.
Yeah, but 711,000 kilometers on a van and it's still going. Like,
yeah, you know? That's impressive. Same van as mine, just to say.
Yeah. Renault Traffic.
Can't
they keep going forever.
All Limerick people drive traffics, kid.
Yeah, keep up with the traffic, boy. Keep up with the traffic. So yeah, Diarmuid, I have I've been busy, and thanks for breaking my my losing streak, let's just say, on these podcasts, because it's been a number of weeks since my last confession. Now I need to, put more time in again now to the podcast and have a regular episode, and do you know what? I mean, I really enjoy coming on the chats here with you. Like, I mean, could I twist your arm? Like, can you come back on again? Like,
I'm actually really open to that, honestly, because I have a bit more free time now with a few bits and bobs. My business is flourishing, absolutely flourishing, and really, really busy. But I've developed it with these apps now and everything, that a lot of stuff is automated for me now. So I got this new thing called Studio Ninja. So genuinely, it's cut hours off my work life inside my office. And yeah, I genuinely have a bit of extra time. So yeah, Jesus. Might just do that, yeah.
Oh, hang on. What's the tune? Guess who's back? Back again. Dot is back. Tell a friend.
Are you back?
Are you back?
I'm back. Feck it. Why not?
All right, fine. Nice one. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully when I can't have an idea for a podcast, you're out pestering me. Darren, you got a half an hour there. No, I can't. Well, I can't. I'm out in my van. We'll do it from the van.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that'll be amazing, but I think it'll be quite interesting actually as well to kind of have the old dynamic back. I kind of held it going there now for 2 years without you.
Fair play to you, boy.
Yeah, November as well, actually. Do you know what? I mean, it's not, but it's also fun. I mean, it's funny enough, at the beginning of the year when I was kind of mapping out what I wanted to do for the year, and I think I was telling you this, I was like, okay, geez, I have to start thinking about the podcast again, who will I get on? And I started to look at different names and stuff like that. And by the time I finished, I had 99 names.
Jesus, mother of God.
And I didn't include you. So that's 100. There you go.
Boom. I just my first question was like, where was I on that list?
Yeah, you were the last. You were number 100. But you're actually the first. So I might as well go back the other way around now and start at 100 and work my way back down to number 1.
Right, well, who's up at number 1? Who's top of the list? Who's the one you wanted to get? Like,
well, when we did episode 100, I said something which, I'd either live by or die by. And I said, by episode 200, we will have
Peter McKinnon.
And I still hope that we'll have Peter McKinnon on by the time we get to episode 200.
I knew we were going to say that. Knew it.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, and all jokes aside, like, to do a podcast with Peter McKinnon, you'd need a 4-hour. You'd have to break it into many different things, because there's so many different things to talk to that man about. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like Gavin Hardcastle. He won't shut up.
Yeah, Gavin is phenomenal for keeping a conversation going when you're lost for words. Do you know what I mean?
And disclaimer, I love Gavin. He's absolutely brilliant and he really entertains me. But the dude, like, I remember the 1-to-1 series. I said to Gavin, and like I'd done like just say 8 episodes prior, and I said to every guest, we're going to keep this now nice and short, so maybe 10 to 15 minutes max. We really don't want to go over 20. And I explained this explicitly to Gavin. 40 minutes later, we're still going.
You're still on the intro.
It's so funny though. But you're having such a good time. You just don't care. You just leave it go.
Yeah, Gavin is great, and I've always had a great time for Gavin, and we've had a number of great conversations even with the podcast on him as well,
Yeah.
So it's if he releases Chasing Awe again with Gavin Hardcastle, or Chasing More Awe with Gavin Hardcastle, we'll have to get him back on again for another
absolutely
another deep dive into it. All right, so Dad, this is 40 minutes. I can't believe it's 40 minutes. That's gone so quick. So look, you're back, which is amazing news. So you can expect now to see more regular content. And if I'm not available, I'm sure Dad will make a podcast. And talk about shiny things. And hang on, we have the news.
I'm waiting for it. You never know. Come here, it's early days, so give it time.
Oh, come here. Did Nikon release a new camera the other day? What was your man's name?
Which guy?
Feck off. All right, so look, we're going to wrap this one up. Good news, and thanks for listening to everybody. Sorry we've been away for so long, but now it's back, and it's back with a bang. So I've been Darren, you've been Diarmuid,
and we'll see you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Ayo.
Slán go fóill, everybody. Slán go fóill.
Hey guys, if you dig what you're hearing, why don't you jump over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and don't forget to share with your friends. With all that done, we'll see you next week. And remember, keep shooting.